All right, so the next thing that they want to do, they want to illustrate their claim here by examining how each approach, that is, each of the four approaches that we've worked through, might appropriate the crucial insights of the other approaches in light of the, this perspectival kind of situation. And so the first one that they want to begin with is the classical apologetics approach. In the standard model, one first constructs a rational argument or arguments for theism, right? So they should prove that God exists, right, as the best worldview, right, theistic worldview. And then having established theism, this is the classical approach. So,
Hmm.
you prove that God exists or that the theistic worldview is the best worldview. And then once you establish theism, then you present the evidence for the distinctive claims of Christianity, which will be viewed without worldview prejudice, right? So that's kind of the two-stepped approach of this classical perspective.
Right. And as we go through these, if you're thinking, oh, what was that one specifically? Who was involved? What are some of the major claims? How does that perspective answer certain apologetic questions? Well, I'm going to suggest that you go back and view our previous episodes where we've covered all that stuff. So if you get lost, there's probably a single individual YouTube video that we posted from the short clips from even those episodes. If you don't want to watch the whole thing again, so use the little magnifying glass on YouTube for that within the Cave of the Cross channel. All right, well, the classical model can incorporate the evidentialist approach by agreeing that the two steps mutually support each other. And I think this is something that we could probably agree to as outsiders to these two approaches a bit more. And it does seem that the infighting between, as in the nice clash between these two approaches might want to talk past each other a little bit more than is necessary to be able to keep their separate distinctions a bit clear. But the classical model can also broaden to include the Reformed approach. Of course it can. As we pointed out, the transcendental argument for the existence of God functions much like the traditional theistic proofs and could be used as the foundational theistic proofs in which all of the more traditional proofs are grounded. And we would say, absolutely, and you should always start with that.
Yeah, right. So you're arguing from that this is the most logical approach, right? The most logical way to see something. But the transcendental argument would suggest, yeah, but what's the basis of your logic, right?
Mhm.
And so you don't give them that. Right.
Right.
You let them know that even that has to be based on God's
Mhm.
existence, the existence of logic,
Yeah.
right? Something like that.
But I think even from our perspective too, where we would be presuppositions, we could even say like, hey, let's put a pin in this and say let's assume that both sides have this, and maybe you want to make a broader point that you see in the conversation that you wanted to draw out. You don't have to stay back and just say, well, first of all, just prove that logic is possible to you. Again, we sometimes think that we're always in this clash between an internet atheist and an internet apologist. But sometimes you're just talking to a friend. Sometimes you're just talking to someone you know. Sometimes you're just talking to a family member. You don't always have to make that contention so big, and you have that ability to move within the scope of
Right.
your apologetic method here. Is I think
Well,
what they're trying to say is the benefit in this as well.
right. And, right. So you do it with grace
Yeah.
and love and that sort of thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a direct clash, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. So don't always think about it like two titans fighting each other. It's just people having a conversation on a bus. Sometimes
There you go.
maybe you've got a book out and someone asks you about it, and you don't have to start in the beginning. You can just
Yeah. Yeah. Good.